Long snap count. Johnson claps, gets the football, slings it towards the end zone. Palmer has it. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always by Buddy Songy here at Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Come check it out. Great food, great atmosphere. Kayla behind the bar serving up cold drinks. Come check out that brisket. Great sides. My favorite is the bourbon baked beans and the homemade mac and cheese. It is outstanding. Come check it out. Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue. Jumping right into it, Bud, man. LSU is now 1-1, defeating McNeese Cowboys 34-7. Had to be kind of crazy for Coach O playing against his son. I mean, I don't remember ever a situation like that in college football. Allen asked me out in the truck one day. He said, at what point did he turn to Durante Jones and say, stop blitzing? 8 quarterback sacks, held the Cowboys to just 52 rushing yards. Defense looked good. Still a lot of questions on the offensive side of the ball.
Good to see everybody. It's been a while since we've done Tigers Roar. If you're wondering and thinking, what is this DA doing wearing sunglasses with all this rain and flooding that we have? For those of you who followed the show through the years, when LSU has their first loss, we wear the sunglasses. And, of course, little did we know that Ida would come in here and wreak havoc, and then Nicholas rears its ugly head earlier this week. So for those of you who have been struggling with LSU football, lights, ice, gas, all the other things that we depend on a daily basis, life's tough. And if you don't believe it, live a few days. And, you know, my mom used to always say, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And as much as a cliche as it is. So I'll take these sunglasses off after our first segment, but that was ugly with the debut of LSU at UCLA. Very similar to the bucket list trip to Green Bay and that storied Lambeau Field. Everybody enjoyed the trip to the Rose Bowl except for the 4 hours of the game. Tigers laid an egg. They were not prepared. Even Kayshon Boutte this week admitting that this team didn't take UCLA seriously enough. And then you segue over to LSU and McNeese. It has happened one other time. Jack Elway was coaching, and his son John Elway. So his daddy was a coach, and John Elway was the quarterback at Stanford, and they played each other. But that's a long, long time ago. And it was an interesting little makeup with Coach O. Going up against his son. But, JP, we always talk about a couple things with football. And you always hear, well, there's a honeymoon period when you win a national championship. But then you also hear, what have you done for me lately? And here it is in week 2. After 2 weeks, the LSU coaches and players have left a lot to be desired. And there is an inordinate amount of pressure on LSU to perform well in the next couple of weeks, or this thing can go to hell in a handbasket. Now, on the flip side, we will recap the Saints and that incredible win. You had to feel good. JP's not going to tell you about it, but he had all kinds of damage and house repairs and all of that. We've all struggled. It's not been an easy couple, 3 weeks. And, you know, that's why we put so much stock into LSU football and Saints football, because when they play well, you beat your chest, and, man, that's my Tigers, that's my Saints, and you get that feel good, and you forget that you don't have ice and gas and all the other things that we were struggling to live without there for a while. So let's hope and pray that we're going to avoid more damage with tropical storms. We give a heartfelt we understand what people are going through. And just like see a guy on the news last night flooding at Kenilworth and all the things that you had to do. It's just been tough. And this LSU football team, little did we know, JP, that week 3 and week 4, I mean, let's be honest, Coach O and that staff are fighting for their lives, and they're trying to get back into the swing of things, because I don't know too many people that didn't think LSU was going to win 8 or 9 or even 10 games. Right. And it's been a rough start to 2021. And 1 year, you can write it off for COVID and all those other things. You follow up 2021 with another losing year, and it's a precarious situation, my friend.
Yeah, I think you got to give Coach Pete, Coach O, and glasses came off.
I'm done with UCLA and LSU, and I want to have some more positive talk. But I had to wear that, and that was for the UCLA game. And of course, any other losses, you'll see these puppies.
Right. Well, you got to give Coach Pete a little break. I mean, first-year offensive coordinator for the Tigers. The defense did seem to figure some things out. Got so much depth on the defensive line. It's easy to rotate guys in and out. Mason Smith played outstanding against McNeese. Still some struggles against the run, but the defensive pressure was outstanding. Cody Ogeron was running for his life the whole game. But to me, it's the offensive side of the ball, starting with that offensive line. You were out 3 starters on the offensive line against McNeese. Hopefully get at least a couple of those guys back this coming weekend against Central Michigan. But starts up front, Bud, man. There were not a lot of holes to running backs. It started in the first week against UCLA. Ty Davis Price didn't have a great game. Did see some young guys get in the game against McNeese and Armani Goodwin and Corey Connor. They did some good things. But it starts up front, Bud, man. If you got to protect the quarterback, Max Johnson still does not look very comfortable in this 2021 season. He's skipped some passes. Did see Garrett Nussmeier get into the game for a little bit against McNeese. Didn't have great stats, 3 for 10. But I was excited watching him. I mean, it's exciting. The guy can make something happen. He scrambled a little bit. He did take some chances that you figure if he makes an SEC game, those balls are getting intercepted. But he throws a very pretty ball. I mean, the guy was fun to watch. It seemed like he would be a guy that if you need something to happen, make something out of nothing, Nussmeier might be a good bet. Now, of course, you're taking Max Johnson if the offense is rolling. You're doing some things. You're moving the ball. Johnson has the experience. He is kind of the slower heartbeat back there. But at times, the offense looks very discombobulated. Coach O spoke to tempo this week and how they want to get back on tempo. And a lot of times they were doing the check with me to the sidelines, and Coach O was talking about how didn't like how many seconds were running off the clock before they broke huddle. So a lot of things you could work on, a lot of things you could change and improve on. One more get-right game before SEC play starts, but Central Michigan is no pushover. They played Missouri in the first week. They played them tough. Missouri just played a very tough Kentucky team all the way down to the wire. So there's more evidence right now that Missouri is a good team compared to LSU. There's not a lot of evidence on tape that LSU is a very good football team. So this is no cakewalk. It's no trap game. Looking forward to Mississippi State. If you don't get up for this game against Central Michigan, it's going to be a very long SEC schedule.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, you're going to be nicer to Jake Peets. I know that both Jake Peets as the offensive coordinator and Durante Jones on the defensive coordinator have never called plays before, and unfortunately, it has looked like it. A couple things off the top of my head that still get to my goat, and let's talk offense. You mentioned it starts at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And we got a chance to go out to practice about 4 times, and then for 2 weeks straight, every day we had availability. Guess what? Here comes the rain. So we really didn't get an idea of how they looked, who was gimpy, right, who was in a non-contact jersey. And then, of course, with Hurricane Ida coming over, they moved over to Houston for a week. So we all fought the fact that all those guys were coming back. Now, we know that LSU has an antiquated marijuana policy, and they're going to continue to struggle and be at a competitive disadvantage. But Dare Rosenthal failed enough tests to where he decided that the bluegrass is a little bit better than the green grass. And so he's over at Kentucky, and they'll face him as their starting left tackle. And then you had Cam Wire, who's always been a good player, but he's got 2 bad knees. Ingram and Shanahan have done a good job of staying healthy, but certainly not open up a lot of holes. Right. Jason Hines played at 350. He's 349 this year. 1 pound. That's how much he lost. Anthony Bradford played at 365. He's at 355. He lost 10. And then, of course, Austin Deculus, who has been the leader and the guy who, if he plays all his games this year, will be the Tiger who plays in more games than anybody else. He's been banged up a little bit. And so you had a lot of problems. Let's just call it the way it is, even though I took the sunglasses off. UCLA was better on that Saturday with the offensive line. Yep. Their running backs were better. Their defensive line were better. and their safeties and DBs were better. And so the better team won in week 1. Oh, by the way, Oregon also puts a notch in the belt for the Pac-12 as they go and take down Ohio State this last weekend in Columbus, Ohio. So maybe the Pac-12 is a little bit better. UCLA, this is a must-win year for Chip Kelly.
Agreed.
He was 10-21 coming in to this year. So a lot of pressure there. Then we segue over to week 2. Well, they're going to look better. JP, we talked about the offensive line. You mentioned it. Max Johnson does not look like the same guy. But you know what people don't want to admit? He started 4 games.
Right.
4 games in his college career.
Right.
Do you remember with Jamarcus Russell or Matt Mock or even Joe Burrow didn't light it up the first 4 games? It takes experience in a while. And unfortunately, with this check with me's, man, I am an offensive coordinator's worst dream because I'm watching that play clock. And you better get those plays in faster. JP, they're snapping it. The clock's going down 4, 3, 2, 1 on almost every play. So you got to go faster. You got to go up tempo. Max has got to get rid of the football better and quicker. And he just doesn't seem like the same quarterback that we saw in 2020. You agree?
I totally agree. And a lot of things Max Johnson did that were outstanding last season was he escaped the pocket, made throws downfield. I mean,
had pocket presence and poise.
And here's what I think might be weighing in this young kid's head. I mean, there is really no backup, right? He is the guy. Like, Nussmeier came in, but Nussmeier's not ready. I mean, you saw his decision-making against McNeese. Look, McNeese is a solid FCS team, but this is not the best defense McNeese has ever had. This is a decent FCS team. We mentioned the 3 offensive linemen being out. Even your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th offensive line for LSU should be able to dominate an FCS McNeese defensive lineman. That just was not the case. They barely got a push, could not open up holes. You mentioned Shanahan and Ingram. Yeah, those guys do have a lot of experience, but they did not have great games against the Cowboys.
No.
So much talent on the outside in the backfield. You hope they get it together. Speaking of the backfield, another hit for LSU, John Emery, a 5-star guy that everyone was thinking that this would be the year he puts everything together. Had the injury bug early in his career, didn't really know the playbook that well, finally gets a shot, putting it all together. Everything that's coming out of the locker room says this guy's grown, he's matured. This was going to be his year to put it all together. But now, academically ineligible, how does that happen at LSU in this day and age where you can apply for all the waivers you need? A lot of guys are getting waivers these days when they don't quite meet the standards and they get a little extra time. How did this happen, Bud, man?
Well, you can't only pass 9 hours in the fall, and that's what happened last year. Now, he had extenuating circumstances. He had a grandma and a grandpa have some problems in the past. One of them died, had his mama get COVID, and he got behind the 8 ball. Look, we gotta point the finger right at John Emery.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you mentioned the key word, maturity, and there's been a lack of. And John Emery, when you put the tape in against Alabama, he was really, really good, and he felt it that night. Had a great game, his best game without a doubt, against big-time caliber competition. But his attorney knows what he's doing, and they're going to try to get a waiver. I'm not real positive that they're going to get much back on that.
Right.
He did pass 9 hours in the summer, but it was what he got behind in the fall that put him behind the 8 ball. So let's move on, and I'm glad you mentioned the running backs. And I said this today on the radio show. How many years has LSU just had oodles and oodles of running backs by committee, 3, 4, 5 running backs that could play each and every year? And you figure it's going to be running back by committee. Here it is, Ty Davis-Price getting a lower foot injury, so he's missing camp. Emery, once again, missed some camp. Corey Kiner is the kid from Ohio that Kevin Falk really liked. He got his first touchdown, but he's still growing. Armani Goodwin, a poor man's version of CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. First carry, 22 yards around right in, tweaks his ankle again.
Yeah.
Josh Williams, a running back who played well enough at the end of the season last year to get a scholarship. He was a walk-on. And now you got Trey Bradford, who went in the transfer portal, went to Oklahoma, and is back with LSU and now on the LSU team. We don't know if he's been cleared to play for this weekend or not. But, JP, I'm watching a lot of college games, and what I like to do is watch as many games as I can, and then I base my opinion on LSU in relation to what other teams are looking like. And I got to tell you, man, it's embarrassing. Would you say LSU's always been in the top 10 with running backs as a team?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Now they're not in the top 40 or 50.
Yeah.
JP, TDP looks like he's got concrete cleats on, and the play calling to get him outside and get him in space. No bubbles, no screens, no draws. And then you get back into Jake Peets, not realizing that Keyshawn Butte is a dog.
Yeah, right.
You didn't go to him until the second half against UCLA. Yep. And you didn't go to him. He ought to be getting 5 or 6 balls every half, if not more. Jack Besh is the second best receiver on that team. Yeah, forget whether you put him in the slot, tight end, or whatever. Right. 80 needs to be on the field. Yep. Had some drops with Dre Jenkins and others. And then this team is made of glass. I have never. Do you realize with suspensions and injuries, they had 21 players out for McNeese. They're going to have double-digit players out again this week. JP, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, all of that. LSU's up in there. They're a lower level in recruiting. Yeah. But Bama has so many offensive linemen and players that if they lose a 4 or 5 star, they just replace them with another one. LSU, because they had to give up 8 scholarships because of the Title IX situation and all the problems that they've had, they're running on empty, and their depth is a little shaky right now. They've got talent. They got to put them in a better situation to be successful. But, man, Malik Neighbors was the talk of the fall camp. He's banged up. Goodwin's banged up. Sage Ryan hadn't played. I could sit here and give you a list of 10, 15 players that when they get back, LSU, Jay Ward, their best safety, one big hit, he's got a shoulder. So it's really, really been a lot of bad luck, a lot of injuries, and I hope this team is not a finesse team, because when you see Arkansas and Ole Miss and Kentucky and Florida, we're not even talking about Alabama and the big boys. The SEC West looks like a beast of a division, and you better line up and start playing some physical football if you want to, survive this season.
We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. Don't go anywhere before we take a break. I want to remind you guys, check us out on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. All the shows are archives. You can view it at your leisure. Check it out once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You're watching Tigers Roar. He's the Bud Man. I'm JP. Come back and join us right after this break.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
We continue here on Tigers Roar from Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, the home of old school barbecue. Still talking LSU at McNeese. The Tigers go even the record at 1-1, defeating the Cowboys 34-7 behind Max Johnson in the offense. But really, the story was the defensive line, Bud, man.
Yeah, Mason Smith, big number 0, got 3 sacks. He needs to play almost every down, in my opinion. I do know he's a better pass rusher. Gets his pad level a little high on the run defense, so they're going to get him better. Jaquelin Roy, number 99. Those two guys, in my opinion, ought to be starting. Of course, I'm not tinkling on Neil Farrell and Joe Evans, but I think physically those two guys are better. Jacoby and Gilry, Tank Gilry getting some play. Mike Jones finally getting some play at inside backers. By the way, Ali Gay out this week. That means B.J. Ojolari will be in, Andre Anthony in, and in the secondary, we hadn't seen too many teams testing Derek Stingley Jr. and Eli Ricks. Cam Lewis came in and did a good job. As we said, just so many injuries. Yep. And listen, I want to see if these coordinators can dial up some different philosophies, because the first 2 weeks has left a lot to be desired. It is not time as an LSU fan or a Jags fan to shut it down. This is when they need you. But I do think the next 2 weeks, and I never thought I'd say this, but the next 2 weeks, if they go bad and you lose one or, God help us, both games, Dandy Don Meredith is going to be singing on every social media site in Louisiana. Yep. Turn out the lights. Yep. This party is going to be over.
Yep. We have some highlights from this past Saturday. We'll ask the truck to go ahead and roll those, and we'll continue the conversation. But, man, I did think that it was great for the student section to be full. Of course, you had the vaccine implementations and requirements to get into the stadium. It was packed. They had a great crowd. They had the whole student chant. Something for Joe Biden. Couldn't make out exactly what they were saying, but it got some national media. I thought that was great. Coach O really appreciated the energy. And there you go. Start off with a 21-yard, great run by Amani Goodwin.
Tiger walk was outstanding. Goodwin tweaks his ankle on that. Trey Palmer with the first touchdown in Tiger Stadium. 33 is a guy that's a lot more involved this year. His Mason Smith was his first sack of the year.
The biggest number 0 you'll ever see. The freshman really showed out in this game. 3 sacks, as you mentioned. Cody Ogeron does not like seeing our big 0 coming after him.
Interesting. Here's Jack Besh. I think he ought to be on the field almost on every play. I don't care if you call him a tight end or put him in the slot or whatever. Do you realize Max Johnson has only gone deep twice all year long. Got to throw some deep balls, JP.
And I think Coach Peace will work some new things in. I liked how they tried some different things about getting Booty and Palmer the ball behind the line of scrimmage, showing some reverses and some bubble screens. I like that he was trying to mix it up. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out. They see the fumble strip and recovery by big number 99. That was a great play.
Yep, TDP, he just hasn't gotten now that's a good run for him, and he's running hard, but he just hasn't seen enough green grass to now here we go with Kayshon Boutte. You better feed him. Oh, by the way, 5 touchdown receptions after 2 weeks, leads the country.
I think that play right there was a great example of how LSU needs to move the line of scrimmage. We're not getting a lot of push from your big men up front. You have to find a way to get Max Johnson outside and find those special playmakers. Max
is holding the ball on too long. He's got to be a little more assertive there. See, it's breaking down, and finally gets his third read out of the thing. This guy was my Pride Roofing player of the game. He is the best field goal kicker that LSU's ever had, bar none. You realize he's made 11 field goals in 2.5 years, over 50 yards.
He is a pro kicker in an LSU uniform. No doubt that guy will play on Sundays. I agree. The best kicker LSU has ever had.
Here we go back on the defense. Once again, good to see the pressure. Interesting to see how the line of scrimmage plays out this week against Central Michigan. They are going to come in here smelling blood, JP.
I thought Andre Anthony really had a great game.
Sure.
He's a bunch of plethora of pass rush moves. The guy's got a great dip, great motor right here, right there, fighting through the block to get another sack.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he knows how to do the gritty as well as anybody on that D-line. Max Johnson once again. Is this looks like Besh? I can't tell who that is. Is that Trey Palmer?
Nope, 80.
No, that's 80. Jack Besh right there. Once again, Jack Besh is another guy that ought to get a bunch of balls, and I think he ought to be starting here. Speaking of Besh, he's wide open again, and hey, you've got to feed the beast. And Kayshon Boutte with his second touchdown reception of the night.
You got to give Johnson credit right there. Rolling to his right, of course, he's a left-handed quarterback. Squares up his shoulders, makes a good pass over the linebacker. I need to see Mason Spet again getting that big sack.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting to see what Central Michigan, we were talking about it today on this show. If you get Central Michigan in 3rd and long, their quarterback is not that good. Here you go, Garrett Nussmeier. Oh, by the way, you talked about Max Johnson only having 2 deep balls. Garrett Nussmeier has already thrown 4 deep balls, and this time another 55-plus yard field goal for Cade York.
Kid really has an outstanding career already as a Tiger. Came in to fill some big shoes. Had a great kicker leave before Cade York, but look, York stepped up. The guy has a steady heartbeat, ice in his veins, 50-plus, he's money.
Coach O said that, 60 yards. If it's a 60-yarder, he'll give him a chance to kick it. Now, I do think Coach O made a faux pas in that first game. If you remember, he made a 52-yarder. There was a penalty. And instead of letting him kick the 57-yarder, he punted. It was early on in the season. I think now he'd probably let him kick the 57-yarder.
Totally agree. Liam Shanahan said he's never seen Cade York come up short on a kick. We have Liam Shanahan right here on Tigers Roar, along with Kayshon Boutte. They're going to give you some comments from this past weekend and also looking forward to Central Michigan. Here it is, Liam Shanahan, center and senior for the LSU Tigers, along with Kayshon Boutte, the sophomore wide receiver, here on Tigers Roar.
Forward, I felt from week 1 to week 2, so it was good to see some improvement. Even with guys out, something that Coach Davis has said since he got here is that everybody in the room, starter, whether it be where you are in the depth chart, has got to be held to the same standard. So, we did some better things. Not where we need to be yet as a unit, but we just got to keep progressing and hopefully get there soon.
Yeah, hey Liam, this is Glenn West here. What have the conversations, again, just kind of piggybacking off of that, been like in the last 48 hours about maybe what you guys want to continue to see improvement on this week against Central Michigan?
Yeah, we gotta just keep improving. We did a little bit better job this week, try to get a run game going. We did some better things there. But we got to get a little bit better. Responding to movement and stuff in the run game, and just being able to adapt to that type of stuff. So.
It also sounds like, Liam, that tempo is a big focus this week. I guess first, how would you characterize how much y'all are trying to move faster between plays and get to the line and get plays off quickly.
Yeah, that is definitely that has been a clear point of emphasis from the coaches to us this week. We've been trying to work that the last few weeks, but really it seems like it's a priority this week. So it's good. On the field yesterday we were going fast, trying to get up on the ball, get set, and run plays. So.
What kind of goes into that for y'all then? Because, when an offense is rolling, it's probably really easy to go fast because you're just gaining positive play. If you maybe have, a negative play, you kind of have to reset. Can you keep going fast if you're not clicking the way you want to? Or is it something you just have to make happen?
Yeah, it's just something that we got to practice, Obviously, when you're going fast, you're not – the plays that are getting called aren't necessarily based on the defense's look that they're given. Sometimes, Coach Pete gets to get a look at the defense and then call the plays. But, when we're going fast, we're saying that we can block that play regardless of what look they give us. So, that's just something that we that'll get better with time, which is why I think it's great that we've been getting a lot of work with it in practice. So.
Liam, do you think a huge part of it is simply just trust with so many guys going out and new guys coming in, backups coming in? You guys maybe don't have the full trust in these guys to pick up a call when it's made, do the right thing on an audible or a check or something like that. Is that really what it boils down to, is the cause of all the inconsistency?
I don't know if I would say that. Like I said earlier, something that Coach Davis has stressed to us is everyone's held to the same standard. Once someone gets in the game, even if they're not a quote unquote day one starter for fall camp, they're held to the same standard. So that can't be an excuse or a reason for any struggles that we might have had. So.
Hey, Liam, can you talk about the play of Jack Besh? And there's been a Gronk reference here and there as well. How do you describe the way he plays and the way he stepped in right away?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's one of those guys that he has a work ethic that you can't really teach. Work ethic, toughness, just that type of mojo to him. He's awesome. I love having him as a teammate. You mentioned Gronk. I'm a Patriots guy from up north, so he reminds me honestly of Julian Edelman a little bit with his size. So it's awesome to see him getting on the field and making plays.
Hey, Liam, Matthew Bruni here from 24/7 Sports. What do y'all know about Central Michigan and how y'all preparing for their front and what they do defensively in the box?
Yeah, they're a good team. They played Missouri really well a couple weeks ago. Based on what I've seen on film so far, they run pretty base 4-down looks. Nothing too crazy. With blitzes and whatnot, but that's with blitzes and movement is something that we haven't done a great job with to start the year. So we're always expecting to see some of that. But it's going to be a challenge. We got to take the next step as an offensive line and as a team, which is what something Coach O has been telling us, is just every week trying to take the next step to be the best team that we can possibly be.
And hey, Liam, just one more from me. You go against these two guys every day in practice, but Mason Smith and Jacqueline Roy really have kind of started off this season really strong for you guys on the defensive line. Just what's it been like watching how they've developed so quickly, and how much they'll be able to help on that side of the ball for you guys?
Yeah, those guys, they got all the talent in the world. They come in here, they work hard. They have the potential to be such good players, both of them, and to see them coming out, they're both young guys, Mason and Jay Roy, coming out and starting to shine a little bit early on in their careers is pretty cool to see. So.
Liam, I don't even know how much time you would be spending around them because the specialists are kind of off by themselves, but how would you describe just Cade York? What's he like, just not as a player, just, kind of around the building?
Yeah, Cade's awesome, man. I'm pretty good friends with him. In the summer I met up with him and a few of the other specialists out in Cape Cod because they made a trip up there during our July 4th break. So it was fun being able to hang out with them up there. But You know, Cade is something. It's not surprising to see him breaking all these records and doing so well. He's just got some sort of poise about him. You know, that it seems like he's destined to be such a great kicker. So, you know, it's all awesome to see him doing well. You know, we send him out there. We just have the utmost confidence, no matter how far away it is. You know, regardless of the weather, like last year with the fog and whatnot. So he's a great weapon to have for our team.
Maybe it was in practice or something. What's the longest field goal you've ever seen him make?
I mean, I've seen him hit 60 before. I've never really seen him try from further back though. I mean, I've personally never seen him kick and come up short. So,
I wanted to start by asking about tempo and offensive tempo. Ed said it's something that y'all are kind of focusing on this week, trying to get to run plays faster. But to make that, kind of what goes into making that happen, though? Because if you're not clicking on offense, is it kind of hard to get into that rhythm and move to the ball fast? Is it sort of like you have to already be having success on offense to make tempo happen, or you just make tempo happen and then success will follow? If that makes sense.
Focusing on tempo this week, I feel like as you focus on tempo more and in the game, the faster you move, the more momentum you have as an offense. And lately, we kind of been starting off slow, so I feel like it got something to do with momentum. So I think that's our main focus this week, to get everything going faster.
Hey, Kayshawn, I'm Jared from Tiger Details. There have been some drops from the receiving. We talked about that a little bit after the UCLA game, some missed opportunities to help Max and some spots. And Coach O said this week he was a little bit surprised by that after how few there were in camps. How much have you guys talked about that, and what are some of the things y'all can do as a group right now to clean that up?
Oh, we really talked about it every day. We talk about it and preach about it every day. And things we could do to improve on it is catching balls after practice and practicing more with the quarterbacks.
Hey, Sean, through these first two games, how would you rate the team's energy level and excitement? Have you guys been excited, energetic about playing?
Yes, sir. We've been excited and energetic, but I feel like it could always be better. There's no certain level to energy.
How much respect do you have for this opponent coming up, and what do you know about it?
I got a lot of respect for all my opponents. I don't downplay nobody, and just because they're not SEC or none of that, is respect your opponents, because I feel like UCLA, we kind of didn't respect our opponents, and we got it handed to us. So that's a lesson to learn from.
Yeah, hey, Kayshawn, I wanted to ask you about Jack Besh. He's been probably, outside of you, maybe the most consistent guy in the first 2 weeks for you guys as receivers. Just talk about his consistency and just kind of what he can do for you guys in the middle of the field in particular.
I like what he do for us as a receiving core too, because he help us wide receivers, tight ends, and he able to move and catch the ball. So it kind of help us, and there's not too much pressure on us throughout the whole game.
Go ahead, Wilson.
Oh, sorry. Didn't know I was up again. I don't know how much time you would spend with him because he's a specialist, but Cade York, just what's he like, not just as a football player, but just as like a person? He seems very sort of hyper-focused on his craft. How would you sort of describe him? What's he like?
I'd say he chill. He stay out the way. He cool people. You don't really hear too much from him.
What is it like to have somebody like that, though, a kicker? I mean, Max said after the game, like, you get past the 50, you're probably going to score. What does it do for y'all as an offense to have him?
Oh, yeah, it's a good feeling. You know, every time we're not successful in the red zone and you put Cade on the field, you're coming out with 3 points. Always.
What's the farthest you've ever seen him make a field goal?
Oh, I don't know. I think the farthest I probably seen was probably Florida game. I think it was just crazy to me because of all the fog, and I don't know how he could have seen. But I think that was the craziest kick I seen him make.
Kayshawn, I know we keep asking you every week what the coaches are telling you and what they're fixing, but if you had to put a headset on, what would you fix to get this offense at a really high level? What are you seeing as the biggest things that are slowing this offense down or hampering them during games?
I mean, it's not really nothing that's really slowing us down. I feel like us as players, we just got to execute the plays a little quicker and faster. And it's like accountability on everybody's part. Like, as receivers we could catch more balls. It's like I always feel like as myself I could do more all around, and that's something huge throughout these games. That played a big factor.
Anything else for Kayshawn? Go on.
Yeah, hey, Kayshawn, I mean, you have 5 touchdowns in these first 2 games, and I think most of them have kind of come in the red zone. I mean, just what about your confidence and about your game allows you to be so successful when you guys get inside the 20?
I mean, I don't really focus on touchdowns or none of that. I just play. I don't go into a game with a certain mindset, oh, I need to do this. I feel like if you just play, it naturally come. And part of being successful in the red zone is practicing it throughout the week, and it's really paying off.
Kayshawn, what can you say about Jack Besh? As a true freshman, it seems like he's obviously not intimidated by anything, and you guys have thrown the ball, good things have happened.
I say Jack from Lafayette, I played against him before, so I knew him coming in would have been a big factor to this team, and it really has been. And he caught the most balls, I think, out the tight end room this past season, or this season, and he's doing good. And I know that 9 times out of 10 when the ball, or 10 times out of 10 when the ball get thrown to him, he's going to catch it.
Well, thank you, Katie, in the truck, and congratulations on your achievement today. That was sophomore wide receiver Kayshawn Boutte and senior center Liam Shanahan, 2 guys that really need to be leaders on this team, on the field and in the locker room. Look, it's a young offense. We all know that. Max Johnson's only had 4 career starts. A guy's trying to figure it out as he goes. Jake Pete's a first-time play caller. Then you go to the other side on defense. Durante Jones, first-time play caller. All those young defensive players. Team needs to mature, but really only 1 more week before we get into SEC play, and Central Michigan is not going to be a pushover. We already talked about it. The team likes to run the ball. They have a very strong offensive line, and some playmakers on the defensive side, too, in the secondary. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's 1 more tune-up game before the SEC meet of the schedule. Mississippi State embarrassed LSU last season. Hopefully Mike Leach, the Pirate, doesn't unleash another can of butt-whooping on Coach O. But we'll see. I mean, that's why I haven't played the games. It's going to be a good one this weekend. We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar, including later we'll have Mike Scarborough from TireBait.com. Before we take a break, I want to remind you guys once again, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting, a great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. All the shows are there for your archive pleasure. You can watch them whenever you feel the need or the want. You have Clarence Buggs. Of course, you have the Exiles and Rocket Right, and of course, Tigers Roar. So check us out once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Come back and join us after this break. We're here at Bayou Smokehouse, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, the home of old school barbecue.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer. Team Mazda on Airline.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
I've seen a lot of things during my life, more bad things than good. I've lived in a lot of places, but never a home. I don't think anybody cares about me anymore. And now, I'm tired. Signed, Brian, age 11.
Abused and neglected children in East Baton Rouge Parish are in dire need of CASA volunteers. Please call 379-8598 today. Change a life of hurt into a life of hope.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue on Tigers Roar. I'm Jonathan Poche. He is Buddy Songy, the host of Buddy Sports Talk, each and every day, 1 to 3.
By the way, check us out on the Pelican Sports broadcasting app and just click onto the radio icon if you want to hear us on that. And it's been spicy. Big games in college football. What have you seen so far? Look, the first weekend, man, to see Alabama and Bryce Young look so polished and so comfortable. You know, that's the one thing about Nick, you got to give him credit. He can lose 2-3 coordinators or coaches every year, doesn't miss a beat. They look like, once again, that the over and under for Alabama this year was 11.5. I don't see them losing the game. If they do, it's only going to be one. Who's got the better chance to beat them? Florida this weekend or Texas A&M in a couple weeks?
I'd say neither.
Yeah.
Neither team. Stay in Orange Beach for the hurricane, evacuated there. Week 1 goes down. I'm in the elevator. A guy walks in with luggage. He's wearing a Roll Tide shirt. I said, "Oh, you're Alabama fan?" He said, "Yeah." So the game was on. I said, "Man, they're looking pretty good." I think the score was like 21-0, 24-3, some of that. He looked at me with the most comfortable stare ever and said, "Yeah, we're going to be all right." That must be really nice, right? To have a team that you can support where you don't have to even watch the game. You know we're up by 3 scores. Even though a quarterback has never taken a meaningful snap in his career, it must be nice.
And the great thing about it is with NIL is that he's already got $1 million+ that, and I don't know how that's going to work as far as, how they get paid or if they prorate it or if you get a lump sum or whatever. But that's another thing that's interesting and going on with college football. Florida has an excellent quarterback. Emory Jones is not the answer. But here's the question this week. And by the way, that is the 2:30 game on CBS. So I know all of you fans of Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler will have a chance to watch them again. That all being said, it's hard to see Florida pulling the upset. And Texas A&M struggled with Colorado and were lucky to win. Man, I got to tell you, JP, Ole Miss, even without Lane Kiffin, of course he's vaccinated, but he still got COVID, missed that first game. If their defense is appreciably improved, they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
Kentucky's good. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen this schedule on the SEC so good. You don't have a cupcake SEC game on LSU's schedule. The old days of Mississippi State and Arkansas, those games look to be tough games right now.
Got to give a shout-out to Tulane Green Wave, Coach Willie Fritz. They had Oklahoma. They were supposed to have a home game in New Orleans. Of course, the hurricane hit. Moved the game to Norman. Thought it was very classy of them to paint the logo on the field. Played them right down to the wire.
5 more minutes and they win that game.
Outstanding game. Got to tip your hat to Coach Willie Fritz and the way he's really turned that program back around. They were competitive the last 3 years, but Tulane is a good football team, and they're gonna make some noise in Conference USA this year. They did a great job week 1. That really stood out to me that first week. Was watching the UCLA game in the hotel. It was interested, but I mean, so much going on with the family, the extended family all being around. So did watch the game. Of course, I was a little inebriated. That's what evacuees do, bud, man. You got to drink. So we were watching that game. Alabama, it's almost unfair how they reload every single season. The guys rotate in, 5 stars rotate out, 5 stars rotate in. I mean, they're stacked. They're always going to be able to run the ball. They're always going to have a quarterback that can have to play fake, hit downfield to outstanding young receivers. I pick Alabama as the best team, obviously, in college football right now. Oklahoma did impress me how they bounced back from that close game against Tulane that had a blowout week 2.
Georgia with a big win over Clemson. You don't know how
Huge.
much offense they have. JT Daniels has been hurt a little bit. Their defense is really good. And, look, I'm not buying all the Texas A&M hype. To go over there and squeak out a victory against Colorado, they're going to lose some games. Florida, I want to see how they line up and play against Alabama this weekend. And you say, well, maybe the SEC is not too tough. 7 teams in the top 25 again this year. It is just what the SEC is. And as most people know, 6:30 this weekend on the SEC network. And then, of course, this is almost a death wish. I know those players hate to wake up early, but the vaunted 11 o'clock game, you know, I used to call it the bourbon and the Cheerios game. You eat Cheerios in the morning and everybody wants to put bourbon in it because they're tailgating. Well, this is on the road. JP, I'm hoping that they can get it together. Now, look, if they take care of business and beat Central Michigan, although the spread right now is 19, I don't know anybody that's laying the 19, the way they've looked on offense. But you go over there and you beat Mississippi State, and that ought to be a revenge game. You're 3-1, and you're hosting Auburn. And we figure, just talking to different people, 60 to 65,000 actual attendance. With the wristbands and all of that, there wasn't any problem there. People still upset about Aramark and the concessions. Great tribute with 911 with the 2 bands, and tailgating back about 85-90%. So there are some positives, but there's no room for error now. You got to put up or shut up these next couple of weeks. But it does look like right now, if I had to guess, Alabama and Georgia will probably be playing in the SEC championship game.
Bubba, I went to dinner last night. ESPN was on TV, and they were talking about how the coaching vacancy for USC just opened up. And like the next story was, what job would be a better college football job? Would it be USC or LSU? So everyone nationally knows Coach O's seat is getting hotter. Look, this Central Michigan team is no pushover. Okay, you have SEC play starting next week. So in years past, some would say that this might be like a trap game. I don't believe that's the case. They are focused on beating this quality Central Michigan team. It's not a team that you can take lightly or expect to get off the bus, say we're LSU and roll over them. If Coach O cannot motivate his team to get up for this Central Michigan game, that seat's going to get much hotter.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I have tried to steer away from all of the coaching talk. I think it's way too early. Look, everybody's got an opinion on this, whether he needs to win 8 games or 9 games this year to retain his job. We know that the buyout is big-time money. We also know that there's been some discretionary decisions that might not have been common sense or smart off of the field in 2021 that's kind of carried over a little bit. I want to see LSU a little bit more disciplined. You got to get these guys healthy. You got to quit having double-digit numbers of guys not available, whether it's suspensions or injuries, and you just got to line up and play LSU football. And so I think the next 2 weekends are going to determine. But I still think it's a little early calling for his head just yet. I want to give him a fair shot, but JP, there better be a sense of urgency when those guys come out of the tunnel and run out on the field come 6:28 and kicking it off at 6:30 on the SEC network. This is a must-win, and you hope that they clean up. I'm a little disappointed in Max, but I have confidence that Max Johnson, who grew up with a football in his hand, saw his daddy win a Super Bowl, I'm hoping that Max Johnson plays appreciably better with more poise because he can make the plays. He just doesn't look comfortable this year.
This Central Michigan team played Missouri week 1, very close game. Then they blew the doors off Oral Roberts or whoever they played week 2. Jim McElwain, a guy that coached at Florida for a long time, has been to LSU, has been to the Alabamas of the world. He's going to have his team prepared to play Saturday night in Death Valley. They're going to take that experience in, something they'll remember the rest of their lives. But this Central Michigan team is not coming in just to play patty cake. They want to prove on a national level that they are a quality program, and they have players too. And if you go into that game thinking we're just going to go through the motions, Max will go 13 for 26 and have 87 yards and a touchdown, I don't believe that gets the job done.
No.
You mentioned the spread, 19 points, 16 points. I would not lay the money on the spread. I mean, if LSU doesn't set the tone early with the defense and then allow the offense to kind of get into a rhythm, this is going to be a struggle. And I think there's going to be a lot of fans that were waiting to judge this team. You don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction week 1, week 2, especially hurricanes coming. 18, 19-year-old kids are displaced. Their families are out of power. They have people put them on different directions. Look better against McNeese. Still a lot of questions on the offensive line, offensive side of the ball. This is a huge game. I agree. Must-win game. SEC play starts the following week in Mississippi State. You mentioned the 11 o'clock game. I always thought the 11 o'clock game was kind of like a tall tale sign of how your season was kind of going. Like, they're not going to put somebody who's gangbusters at 11 o'clock. So we'll see. We got to get through this weekend first. It's not going to be a pushover game. Central Michigan's going to bring the hard hats. I mean, they're coming to play. And I listened to Coach McElwain's press conference today, and what a class act. Started off by mentioning the people of Louisiana being out power and all the struggles we're going down here. Then he mentioned Coach Falk. We have to give a heartfelt, sincere, I don't even know the right word, condolence to Coach Falk and his team. What they're going through is absolutely terrible. If you haven't heard,
he lost his daughter.
Yeah,
20-year-old daughter.
Tragedy struck the family.
And he's probably out for this weekend. Kevin Falk.
Right.
We don't feel like he's going to coach. You talked about McElwain, the irony of them coming to play after a hurricane. He was the coach at Florida when Joe Oliva and everybody got sidewinded and sidetracked. And remember, they had this big tete-a-tete with the commissioner, and so he moved the game. It was supposed to be a Florida home game. They moved the game to Baton Rouge, and then they were going to play 2 back-to-back in Gainesville. And this is a game where I'm sorry, not Kevin Falk, but Darius Geis ran the wrong way on the final play of the game. He'd have walked in with a touchdown, LSU would have won. And so he's familiar with hurricanes and the impact, whether they're in Florida or in Louisiana. But once again, happy that you mentioned Kevin Falk. All of us over here at Pelican Sports Radio, TV, Internet, and streaming. We give our condolences and our regards to Kevin and his family. It's got to be something incredibly tough to lose a young lady who's only 20 years old.
We'll take a quick break, but on the way back, we'll have Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com talk everything LSU football and recruiting. Don't go anywhere. He's the Bud Man. I'm JP, and you're watching Tigers Roar.
Taste the feeling.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store.
Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
And we welcome you back once again, Bayou Smokehouse, with the best brisket and some old school barbecue you can't find anywhere else in Baton Rouge. Folks, you actually can smell the great stuff we have over here just outside the doors. Happy to be joined by Mike Scarborough with TigerBait.com. And Mike, as always, good to talk with you. Obviously, the big questions that everybody has on their mind, the start of the LSU season and what kind of impact it will have on recruiting. So we hand you the football and give us an overview of what you've seen and early on what kind of impact the start has had, or if LSU people are still happy because everybody's hanging on with their commitment and waiting to see how this season unfolds.
I think it's still kind of status quo. I haven't seen where it's hurt LSU at all. But that's not to say maybe that's moved the needle with a Harold Perkins or somebody out of state. That remains to be seen. I think for the most part, the local kids and the kids in the state that are either committed or uncommitted that have offers from LSU, I think LSU's still in great positions with all of them. And I include Quincy Wiggins from Madison Prep, who at Tiger Bait we filmed every week of their season so far. And Le'Veon Moss from Estruma, who I filmed last week against Livonia. And I think LSU's in great shape with those two. So then you got Shaz Preston out there, Kendrick Law, and possibly a few others. So we'll see how it ends up playing out.
Yeah, I got this message from somebody after our segment today, Mike, and with the problems on the offensive line, and it was a real faux pas last year. James Craig was the O-line coach. He only ended up signing 2 O-linemen. Kimo McAnally, who's probably a year away from being able to play at this level because of his body and the physical nature of it, and then Garrett Dellinger, who was in the mix early and has been banged up a little bit. We'll see more of him. But people want to know about the offensive line. If you could recap what they have committed and who else is in play with the big uglies for this class.
Well, it all starts for LSU with Emory Jones and Will Campbell. I saw Bo Bordelon on the sideline in pregame warm-ups last week, along with Will Campbell. And of course, Fitzgerald West, the center prospect from Lafayette Christian. And I think on top of all that group, I think you need probably 2 or 3 more. So if what we're hearing this afternoon, that Ross Dellinger's reported that you can maybe get up to 32 for this year's class with a waiver. I think LSU needs to go real big with offensive linemen, because I think between what they're going to lose to the seniors and the guys who took the free year, the guys that have now been in the program for 3 years plus that aren't giving you anything, that that whole position in reality needs to be rebuilt, because going forward, you know, you maybe got 3 or 4 guys that you can look to the future that you think you've got somebody.
Yeah, by the way, real quick on the tweet from Dellinger, officials are set to pass a 1-year waiver next month to immediately expand the 25-man football signing limit. Sources tell an SI Now coaches can replace up to 7 players who leave for the portal, which means a max signing would be 32. JP and Mike, obviously this could be beneficial for LSU, and it looks like they wouldn't leak this stuff out unless it was more than likely going to pass, Mike.
Yeah, because almost every school in the country is struggling with the numbers right now, and of course the NCAA really, other than what they've done with John Emery, is pretty much giving the coaches and the leagues everything they want, because you know they basically don't have any teeth, and they're worried they're going to get tossed to the side. So, but LSU, between the strong group that they have committed, I mean, you could really make the case that they could use a few transfers from other schools. I mean, the word needs to be on the street that you can go to LSU and have an opportunity and start right away.
All right, Mike, so this past weekend was LSU's really first real home game in quite a while. The band was back on the field. The student section was packed. I know they had some recruits on the sidelines. What were some of the impressions you got of how those guys enjoyed the game, enjoyed the atmosphere?
Well, you know, it's the guys that are always going to have a good time. Walker Howard, Bo Bordelon, Will Campbell. I saw Jacoby Matthews outside the stadium, decked out in purple and gold. And you had some others there, your typical in-state group. But, you know, once you start having SEC play and you're bringing in out-of-state recruits, need to play better, need to start stacking up some wins to make it look like there's some stability.
Hey, Mike.
That's easier said than done, because with what we've seen the first 2 weeks, it's the next 2 football games are absolutely imperative to be wins for Ed Orgeron in my mind. I don't know how you lose any of the next 2 games and come close to meeting an 8-4, which I think he needs.
Hey, we talk about the transfer portal. We talk about NIL. As you talk to these recruits, are they coming out publicly and talking about NIL, or is that just kind of assumed that, you know, these kids now, look, there are rumors and innuendos that some kids are now getting paid to go on visits. And let's be honest, if you're a big-time player now, just like Bryce Young and others, a quarterback who left the state of Texas and already at Ohio State, hadn't played it down and has over $1 million that is going to come in NIL money. What kind of impact is it going to have? And people want to know if LSU is going to be on the cutting edge with that.
I think LSU is going to be on the cutting edge with it, but I also think that maybe the initial rush with it is going to die down. And I think other than local businesses in those towns, I don't know that you're going to have major corporate deals. You know, a corporation's got a lot to worry about. You know, you're still talking about 18, 19-year-olds who are prone to make bad decisions, and if they're representing your business, that can be a problem. You know, there's an undercurrent of people out there that think that, you know, a couple of years from now, the NIL issue is not going to be as profound as people think it is right now, because, you know, corporations and local businesses are going to you know, really scrutinize their advertising dollar, or their whatever type of dollar you want to call it, into whether it benefits their business or not.
Mike, after the first 2 weeks, in your opinion, what are the biggest areas of improvement for this football team? Is it offensive line? Is it Max Johnson? I mean, where's this team lacking the most, in your opinion?
To me, it's. I think the defense played better last week.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you need to get Ali Gay and Jay Ward back, and you know that'd be a positive thing. But I think the defense is probably more likely to be further along and get better each week, whereas the offense, I think, is going to continue to be a worry. I want to see some more of Armani Goodwin and you know, him not getting banged up. Want to see some more of these young wide receivers, but that offensive line's got to get better. You're not getting anything out of the tight ends. But the offensive line is everything. It's, you know, you can scrutinize the running backs, but what can you expect from running backs when they're getting hit a yard behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, we talked about it, Mike. Le'Veon Bell is a speedster, but he's got to have some green grass to run on. Hey, wrapping up, I did get another question after we had you today, and I know it's a crapshoot, but what's LSU got to do, in your opinion, to solidify another top 5 recruiting class this year?
Well, I think if they just finish with everybody that's on their board, then I think they're in good shape with they're going to be in the top 5. But you can be a top 5 class and not meet your needs. So, but this deal with the NCAA and being able to replace up to 7 in a year can really, not only can LSU finish with the top kids, they're going to make you have that shiny recruiting class ranking, but you can really address some sore needs in a hurry. And that's what they, in my mind, that's what they need to do. If it's a matter of going and taking a second look at Cam East at St. Aug, who's got a bunch of good offers, or the kid from Pineville, and then a couple of transfers in, you know, they need to get more offensive linemen here. Really, you know, go after it in a big way, because as good as offensive linemen are in this class, I'm not seeing anybody that stands out for offensive linemen in Louisiana in next year's class.
Tell them what you got and what you're delivering on a weekly basis over at TigerBait.com this football season, Mike.
That's it. Loads of recruiting. We're out every weekend, every Thursday, Friday. Now, because of you know, games and high schools trying to get back on track, you're seeing a bunch of Saturday games. We might even hit some of those, depending on the times. So we've got a backlog that I'm editing now. Loads of prospect video. Nobody has more of it and better of it than we do. And, of course, all your game coverage, our YouTube, Facebook channel. We're doing our post-game shows, our weekly show. You're on with me each week, and Preston does a show. So we've got a lot going on at TigerBait.com.
Certainly appreciate your time, Mike. Looking forward to talking to you again next week, bud.
All right, talk then. Thanks.
Thank you, bud. Wrapping it up, it's going to be interesting, and what I expected him to say is that contingent upon what LSU does. You know, let's be honest. There are probably 10 or 11 guys that are going to stick to LSU regardless, but those guys on the fence, they want to see a better product on the field, and we hope that starts to get delivered come Saturday night.
We have a little bit more here on Tigers Roar. We come back from this break, we'll talk some New Orleans Saints and their big win in Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers did not play well. Wasn't the case for Jameis Winston, who stepped into Drew Brees' shoes, threw 5 touchdowns, did outstanding. Come back and join us right here on Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello, hola, 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue here on Tigers Roar. Time to talk some NFL, some New Orleans Saints who are now undefeated, 1-0 after playing the Green Bay Packers and handing them a butt whooping, bud, man. The game had to be moved from the Superdome to Jacksonville. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars organization for really playing a great host to the Saints. Of course, they had more Packers fans than Saints fans, but a lot of people were displaced, and the Packers fans always travel well. But the Saints put a whooping on them, 38-3. Jameis Winston throws 5 touchdowns. The Saints only passed 21 times. I mean, if you had a game with Drew Brees in it 3 years ago, we only threw 21 passes, you'd think, what, did we sit out the whole second half? I mean, it was crazy. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did have one that was picked off and called back for a questionable roughing the passer call. I'll take it, no doubt. I thought Winston looked spectacular in the pocket. He climbed well. He had his eyes downfield. Didn't really force the ball outside that one time. He was taking a hit and threw the pick. But still, that ball wasn't that bad. Found multiple receivers. That long pass to Devontae Harris was outstanding, over 50 yards on the dime for a touchdown. Jawan Johnson, the guy that switched from wide receiver to tight end this year, had 2 big 4th-down conversions on the same drive early in the game. Look, a lot of positives for the Saints, including that defense who really shut down Aaron Rodgers.
The Saints made me smile, and I had my phone blowing up. I didn't realize I was going to have to go to Sunday to get smiles and feel good for football this weekend. Hey, here's the other thing that we got to mention. Eric McCoy, who's a really good center that the Saints drafted, high pick a couple of years ago from Texas A&M, he got hurt. And, we talk about this same thing with the LSU offensive line. Cesar Ruiz got in there, and they did not miss a beat. So let's give the Saints a lot of credit. Once again, they were displaced, not going to play in the Superdome until, game 4 or 5 or whatever. Really fun to see Jameis Winston having fun. Another pickup. And, they tried to get Latavius Murray to come in at a cheap rate. Well, Tony Jones Jr., I got to tell you, is better than Latavius Murray. And the combination of Alvin Kamara and Tony Jones, I thought was outstanding. Callaway and some of the other guys, Jameis did all he needed to do. That was a lot of fun. And, wow, what an incredible Monday night game to see the Raiders come back in overtime and beat the Baltimore Ravens. That was a lot of fun. LSU scheduled to go to Vegas. Last year, as we know, the Saints opened up that facility, but guess what? there wasn't any fans.
Right.
So glad to have the fans back. It makes a big difference, JP.
We have some highlights from this past Sunday, the Saints versus the Packers. We'll ask the truck to go ahead and roll those. We'll continue the conversation as the highlights play. It started early for Jameis Winston. Did a great job really scrambling when he needed to.
Yeah.
Picked up some key first downs. And really, you can't ask for more, guys. Not Lamar Jackson, but is mobile in a pocket and can pick up a first down if he needs to.
This is right here. Look, he sees where the yard line he has to get to, and he gets the first down.
You mentioned Alvin Kamara didn't get a touchdown this past game, but he had 20 carries and 83 yards. Tony Jones Jr. had 11 carries for 50. Both those guys had over a 4-yard average. And here's a new kicker that Saints picked up. Busted a 47-yarder. Still don't know his first name, Rojas, but he's done outstanding for the Saints in his little role since Lutz went down.
Look good. By the way, I had somebody, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers have been on frosty ground, but look, he didn't try to play bad. The Saints just dominated him. Here's Jameis Winston once again, the third time he had a run. That's a big man. Nobody wants to tackle him once he gets ahead of steam.
Slide, Jameis. You're a baseball player in college. You got to slide.
Yeah. Yeah, don't take too much. Once again, a big first down there is Kamara, and I think Kamara is as good as any back in the league coming out the backfield catching the football.
The body control and the balance for Kamara is just absolutely amazing. Here's a little toss to Kamara. That counts a touchdown pass for Winston, so he'll take it. But Kamara, there's nobody better at keeping balance and pushing for those extra yards.
No doubt about it. And of course, Kamara is one of those guys that got paid. Marcus Lattimore was signed to a big deal. Highest paid cornerback. They announced that right after the game.
Deontay Harris finished up with the most yards as a wide receiver. He had 2 catches for 72, but once again, Juwan Johnson, 3
How about
catches.
Marcus Davenport with a big sack there? How nice was that?
That was nice. He kind of just lucked into that one, I think. Rodgers threw that one away. But, yeah, we'll take it for this is the 4th down call right here, Juwan Johnson. A tight end screen. Only Sean Payton is calling a tight end screen on 4th and 6. It works out right there.
Gosh, I wish LSU would go to the Saints every year and learn how to do the screen. The Tigers don't know how to do it. Saints, one of the better screen teams in the world.
I think this play right here with a man on his back, delivers it high to where Juwan Johnson catch that ball. Again, that was on 4th down, big number 83, switches tight end this year. It's really working out so far.
Yeah, really impressed with his ball control, his body control, and catching the football. Once again, here are the Saints with a big play. And I was impressed with their physicality.
I agree. That was the rookie Adebo out of Stanford.
Yes, he's a good one.
He had to play a little bit because Ken Crawley's banged up, so he was the number 2 cornerback. And then Marcus Lattimore goes down during the game, so everybody's pressed into duty. Here's a great interception by Marcus Williams. The range he showed on this play. He was on the other side of the field, 20 yards behind the receiver, somehow ran down the ball and had a nice return. Marcus Williams, one of the best safeties in the league.
Still trying to live down that play against Minnesota many years ago, but lo and behold, I was happy. And listen, the Saints made a couple of moves at the last part of the preseason to get a couple corners in here to help them. They want to win again this year, and I think you got Bradley Roby coming in, and as you said, the kid from Stanford looks really good as one of the corners.
I picked up the veteran Trufant to help out in the backfield, the secondary too. There you saw another touchdown from Winston. I think that was a 4th of the day. Defense played well all day. Bend, don't break. Get the 3rd down, then really hold them on a 4th down. You can't ask for more. Right here, Marcus Lattimore with the cast on his right hand, breaks up a pass to Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in the game. When Lattimore plays like he's able to, he deserves that big contract extension.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Highest paid cornerback. Most people know he had something hanging over his head. We thought he might be suspended. And here is an INT, but as you alluded to, this got taken off the board because of a shaky call. And the Green Bay fans going all that way, they do follow their team, but they had to be drinking some beer and soaking their sorrows in the suds come Sunday about 6:30.
Now, that hit looked worse in live when you slow it down a little bit. He did get his shoulder to Winston's shoulder. But look, the Saints fans, they're not going to give any calls back after all that we've been through. They see Juwan Johnson with another touchdown. Outstanding for that young man to really have success. When you change positions in the pros, you're really just trying to help your team any way you can, but outstanding for that young man to have early success.
And Taysom Hill still is playing a lot of different roles, the Swiss Army knife. And here's the thing that Drew Brees couldn't do, puts it right in the breadbasket about 55 yards in the air. to the little water bug. I love me some DeAndre Harris.
It had been since 2016 that the Saints had completed a touchdown pass more than 50 yards. Jameis Winston did in the preseason, but does it again right there. That ball was on the money. Can't place it any better. And look, Deontay Harris, that guy can absolutely fly. So Winston's going to have a whole year. Yeah, Harris will be suspended a little bit during this season, but that connection is going to be exciting. That guy can take the top off of any defense, and Winston could absolutely bomb it. The arm strength, the arm talent's always been there. Sean Payton has finally got his head right. His post-game interviews, I mean, it is like a different guy. Jameis Winston, obviously, great experience to sit behind Drew Brees last season. Sean Payton's going to work with him, continue to work. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Can't ask for a better start.
And you know, one of the things that gave him an inordinate amount of confidence, he got the text from Drew Brees, who said basically, you're ready for this. Let's do this. Let's go. And, you know, he picked up a lot of the little things being around. I think we're starting to see Jameis Winston knows the consummate pro showed him. And it's not just about the way you play on Sunday. It's the way you prepare.
Absolutely.
It's the way you lead. It's everything. And let's give Sean Payton a lot of credit. This is why you call it gambling. Can you imagine if you were laying the 4.5 or 5 against Green Bay? You knew that one was gone right out of the gate.
Well, you had to take your hat out to Sean Payton. I mean, Drew Brees had missed 9 games the last 2 seasons, and the Saints only lost 1 of those games. The guy has an uncanny ability to make a game plan for his player, really accentuate his strengths. Jameis Winston did not force anything down the field. He scrambled and picked out first downs with his legs. He had the check downs. He escaped the pocket, found Juwan Johnson down by the end zone. You can't ask for more from a guy who's stepping into a huge situation. How do you replace a Drew Brees? Well, here's the thing. You can't. I mean, number 9 is a first ballot Hall of Fame for a reason. But Winston, you cannot ask for more. The defense played outstanding. Good to see Quan Alexander back in the Saints uniform. Wearing number 5 this year. Yeah. He looked healthy. Him and Demario Davis, that's one of the best linebacker duos in the league.
Absolutely. And the other highlight for me was Monday night seeing Peyton and Eli and all those guests. In case you missed it, they've got a new format as those guys have a lot of fun, a lot of inside jokes, but a lot of technical stuff. Peyton and Eli and all those guests, I thought that was, by the way, I did see they had 800,000 watch that the first time. That is going to be into the millions as we move forward. So if you want to have a different look on Monday Night Football, then check out ESPN2. That's where Peyton and Eli are having fun.
One of the most asked questions of me during this football season for the first week at least, does Drew Brees have hair plugs? I'm saying no. Budman, you take off that helmet, put that helmet on, that helmet rips off a lot of hair. You don't wear it for a few months, your hair starts growing back, not to mention the stress he's not dealing with anymore. Yeah, he's got the 4 kids who's probably driving him nuts a little bit, but I don't think they're hair plugs. What do you think, Bud, man?
I don't know about all that. I just know this. I think he's gonna end up doing a good job, and I'm glad that he retired because he knew that he couldn't perform up to the level that everybody expected. 15 years, what a great run. You know the F word is incredibly important this week. Focus, focus, focus. Don't let this win over Green Bay get to your head. Got another challenge this weekend.
That's right. It starts conference play. Take on the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. Of course, they have a new quarterback in Sam Darnold. They also have one Terrence Marshall Jr. on the wideout. They have a great running back in Christian McCaffrey, maybe the best in the league. Saints have a big task. Got to start off the conference play hot. NFC South, a very competitive conference, especially when you have the Bucs who take on Atlanta this weekend. It's a must-win already.
Call me crazy. I'm going to predict LSU to beat Central Michigan 34-24. I don't know how they're going to get 34 points unless they change the offense, get the ball in space, go quicker. And obviously, we'll monitor that and have all the results next week.
We certainly appreciate you tuning in to Tigers Roar. Check us out next week. We're coming with a brand new edition. Once again, he's the Bud Man. I'm JP, and you've been watching Tigers Roar.